And welcome back. This is another episode of It's a Mimic. What episode are we on, guys? 24?
24.
Alrighty. So we did the dragon overview before in our first Dragon Mastery episode, where we kind of hit the general idea of what dragons can do. But today I want to focus on white dragons. And we're going to go through all the chromatics first. Then we're going to hit all the metallics. Then we're going to hit all the weird dragonkin or the pseudo kind of maybe dragon stuff that's out there after that. So this is the first one we're actually like honing in on one, and I'm kind of excited about it because I actually really like white dragons, and a lot of people don't.
They're underused.
I feel like I feel like people don't get as excited by them because they're white, which sounds strange to say, but I mean they're just kind of boring to some people over like blues or the blacks or the reds. They just seem a little bit
They don't seem
vanilla.
Yeah, at first glance, it's like I feel that way about the brass and the copper and the bronze. Like, there's nothing that jumps out at me about it. But then the more I was digging into white, the more I'm like, I could use this at multiple points during a campaign. Mm-hmm. Whereas nobody says, you know what, we're going to use a young red dragon in our campaign, and that'll be the only time that we see red dragons.
Yeah.
If you're going to see a young red dragon, you're doing a dragon campaign. You're going to see an ancient later, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
But I don't know. I think that whites are kind of fun. But let me go through kind of a breakdown of what we're talking about for the people at home who don't know it.
Welcome to It's a Mimic with your DMs, Adam, Dan, and Terry.
Hi, and welcome to White Dragons.
Oh, wow. You just went full like NPR on
I'm
us
excited.
here.
I'm excited for these
You
videos,
guys,
for these moments.
you guys should have seen the look on Terry's face there. It was great.
One day they will.
Yeah.
Me and Dan staring each other down.
Yeah. Well, no, pretty much half of this podcast is whoever's not talking staring the other person down. That's...
Yeah. So, anyways, let's jump into it. I want to talk about it. White dragons, of course, are cold. Dragons are chaotic evil because they're chromatic dragons. All the chromatic dragons are chaotic evil, or are evil, not necessarily chaotic. But white dragons very much are. You find them in Arctic areas, icy mountains. We're talking deep snow, not so much tundra. As much as you can kind of see them from a distance in the tundra, they're where the ice is. We're talking like northern Canada, not southern Canada, right? The cool thing about them is that they have kind of an evolution, and I've seen that 5th Ed kind of does this, where they talk about the color spectrum for them as well, where they start off shiny white when they're wormlings, and they slowly start to become darker and mottled with different kinds of blues and grays and whatnot to help them blend into the background. They can camouflage a little bit.
That's actually one of my favorite things about white dragons.
Yeah?
Yeah, the fact that they go from like... I picture like a white dragon wormling as a like little itty bitty snow hare. Like this really cute little thing that will rip your throat out if you give it a chance. But it's like this adorable little thing with bright, shiny scales and everything else. And then as it ages, it just gets mottled and blue and gray and gross. And I'm just like, yes, please, I love this.
I feel like that happens with a lot of animals, though.
Yeah, like bay seals. They start nice, white, and cuddly, and then they be big, gray, gross things that are going to just
even
slaughter
cows.
over you. Yeah.
That's why I kill them at every opportunity. Adam?
RPG Yogi just twitched. Anyway, so the thing about the white dragons is, of all of the dragons, they're the least intelligent, and they're the least cunning. That does not necessarily mean that they're dumb. The wormlings are kind of bestial with an intelligence level of 5, but the ancients only max out at 10, but that's still an average person.
Yeah.
We touched on that a little bit in the last dragon episode. They do, however, have great memories, so they will hold a grudge. Even though they don't have great intelligence, they will remember you.
Yeah. They're like crows.
Yeah. They're the most animalistic of all of the dragons, and they're the best hunters of all dragons. Hard stop. That's right in the monster manual, that they are the best hunters. We can get into that a little bit more. The stats kind of support that. They only eat frozen prey, which I think is really interesting. They gotta freeze you with their breath weapon, and then they will eat you. And if you are not frozen, if they kill you with like a tail attack or whatever, they will then bury you in snow or ice, or wait until it recharges and frees you again, and then bury you and wait, and now they have a stash of food somewhere. So I feel like there are all sorts of kind of half dead or half eaten or broken monster corpses just littered around the snowy areas of the Forgotten Realms. The other thing about them that I really like is they use frozen corpses of their greatest foes as trophies and warnings in their lairs.
Ooh, to decorate their lairs?
Yeah, so they will like create this giant ice wall with their breath and have like a frost giant, frozen in a pose in there to like either ward off people or so that they can sit there and be like, yeah, bitches, I beat you, right? So, because they're super malicious, which I think is a lot of fun. They're also really antisocial, which is why they have these warnings up. They can speak. They only speak Draconic. And they can speak, but they rarely choose to. So when you even go in to talk to them in Draconic, they will probably just stare you down. Like Dan just stared down the cake before he ate it.
I devoured that thing. Oh, man. So good.
They don't like to suffer the presence of other dragons at all. Hard stop. You will not find them hanging out with a black or a blue or a red. They only hang out with other whites. And even then, it will be just a mate for a very short period of time, and then they're gone again.
Is that some sort of envy?
I don't know if it's envy. They're just hyper-territorial. They don't even like to have minions as a general rule. The only minions that really stick around are the minions that they can prove that they're strong enough to be a decent minion, but they're got to be plentiful enough because white dragons will just come through and eat some of their minions once in a while. Like, hey, there's no food that I can find, but I've got all of these kobolds. I will eat a few kobolds.
Yeah.
The kobold horde is not going to suffer for it. It's strong enough to be a decent presence as a horde for the dragon itself, but there's no one kobold that's really going to threaten it or make it feel challenged, right? So kobolds are just a great minion. I would even say lizard folk, depending on whether or not they're cold-blooded or warm-blooded, how you want to play that one. But
Just a bunch of lazy lizard folk laying around.
Yeah, I don't feel like there are a whole lot of like human cults for a white dragon.
No.
Right, I'd see it for a red dragon or a blue dragon or a gold dragon even, right? Where they've got these followers, but not really for a white one, just because they're so freaking territorial. They often fight frost giants. Like that's their number one thing.
For territory?
Usually for territory, the frost giants will actually go to prove themselves by fighting a white dragon as well. And if they can defeat the white dragon, they won't kill it. A lot of times they will just try to subdue it and have it become subservient to them. And they will keep it as an ally or a guard. And they kind of cow it down to what they want. But if the white dragon wins, that frost giant is going to die.
Yeah.
What's interesting here is that the frost giants themselves are CR8. And even the everlasting ones, which are the frost giants, which are kind of like bigger and beefier, and they got a bit more flavor to them from Volos.
Those are the ones with 3 heads, right?
Yeah, it can be more than 3. Like they just start growing. They've got troll shit going on to them.
Okay.
They're only a CR12, so a young white dragon is. I'm getting a bit ahead of myself right now, but a young white dragon is a CR6. An adult is a CR13. So how many giants are going up against what? What level of white dragon are we talking here? A one-on-one, a single frost giant may be able to take a young dragon. We talked before about how dragons usually aren't run properly. They tend to land and hit with their claws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a little ridiculous as far as we were concerned. But they will definitely bend a defeated white dragon to the will, frost giants will, if they can. I don't see them really doing that in single combat. They're going in groups, right? I want to talk about hordes for just a quick second here. Every dragon has a different kind of horde, and the one that's really cool about this is that they've separated into 2 different kinds of hordes for a white dragon. There's the small, shiny things like diamonds and gems and coins. Those are just littered around their lair. But anything that's big, like they can get a pirate ship, or they can pick up like a Remoras corpse that they've killed and whatnot. They will have this trophy or this treasure, and they will bury it deep in ice, and they will cover it in ice so that they can go in. They got the power to go in and just get it, but anybody else has got to go in with mining equipment and spend a day trying to dig at it. So they got this weird like safety deposit box.
That's
concept.
almost that's interesting because that's almost kind of bestial as well.
Yeah,
we say they're the most bestial. It's like a dog, burying its bone.
I find a white dragon lair would look a lot like the Bat Cave. There's just these large trophies and things littered all over the place.
Parts of it.
Ice welded to the wall.
Yeah, just ice welded to the wall.
Yep.
And then they have that one frost giant butler.
So they like. God damn it.
What would his name be, Dad? Think about that.
Jim.
Thanks,
Right.
Dan. Yep. So they do love diamonds. Diamonds are their favorite thing, but they can rarely get diamonds. There's not a whole lot of diamond mines that are up in the Arctic. Most of their horde stuff is going to be ivory from walrus and mammoth tusks, figureheads from the bow of ships, and magic items that people come in with. Some small shiny treasures, like I say, are littered around. I don't know what they would do with magic items. Like if you have like a magic amulet,
They probably bury it under a thick coat of ice.
if they know what it does, right? But it says right in the monster manual that it's small to large. It's not important or powerful to mundane, right?
Yeah.
So I think you can play that either way. If it was a quest to go in and get like an amulet or a ring or something of great power, even a signet ring for the local barbarian tribe to say, hey, I am the chief, that could just be scattered on the ground.
Yeah, but they would value like a mundane ship more.
Yeah. What's interesting is that for most of the dragons, even the evil dragons, you go in to try to bribe them, and you just can't, right? For white dragons, you can for some of the others, right? You can go in and try to reason and kind of find what they want and maybe trade or give them a hostage that they may want. You're not going to get that with white dragons. White dragons, I keep going to say this, they are territorial. This is my place, and if you are here, you are trying to fight me for power.
You've already offended them just by showing up.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's kind of the basic lore out of the paragraph portions of the monster manual. Really quickly though, let's talk about the regional effects. They get 6 miles of chilly fog. They also get 6 miles of freezing rain. But when the dragon is resting or sleeping, blizzards can blow through as well. It's like when they sleep, the elemental aspect just rages, which is a little strange. Their lairs also full. You were talking about the Batcave.
Yeah.
Their lairs full of these icy walls that are 6 inches thick, and they actually have stats for these walls. Each 10-foot section has an AC of 5 and 15 hit points. They're vulnerable to fire, which means does twice as much damage. But they're immune to cold, poison, necrotic, and psychic, which makes sense, and acid, which with ice is apparently immune to acid. And I'm sitting there thinking, you're flicking acid at it and it just freezes? Is that?
Yeah, I guess
Is that
so.
the
Yeah.
I
mentality?
would probably say that they're so cold. That is the reason behind it. What I found interesting was what you just said about when they're sleeping, the regional effects.
Yeah.
I think in my game I would play that off as a projection of their dreams. Is that they're affecting their region around them because when they're in like a deep sleep, and if a dragon for whatever reason is kind of troubled or there's something going on, it would be more chaotic.
Yeah.
The weather around them. I think I like that.
Yeah, I also like the fact that with the layer itself, the layer is going to be full of these regional effects too. A lot of people think that the regional effects exist out there in the world, and then you get into the layer, and now you're into the layer effects. But this stuff stacks.
Yeah.
Which is why it's interesting that under the regional effects, it talks about these icy walls in their lair.
Yeah.
What's really cool is that the dragon itself can just smash through these walls without worrying about it. They don't have to roll to hit or do damage. They just smash all the way through. Even a wormling can just smash their way through this without worrying too much. I'd probably give it difficult terrain, but that's it. The lair effects, 20-foot radius, sphere of cold fog that obscures vision. It must be centered on a spot within 120 feet that the dragon can see. It has a DC 10 Constitution save, which is nothing. And you take 3d6 cold damage when the fog is created, or when you end your turn in it. So, 3d6 maybe if people are botching their con saves. But by the time you're fighting dragons, I'm thinking your con save is going to be pretty decent anyway.
Yeah, I think that's going to be more for obscuring your vision more than anything, and affecting how you need to move around the lair.
Yeah, I think it's almost more for flavor. Like you're like, oh hey, you know what? I've hit initiative 20, like in the initiative order.
Yeah.
Right. So we've hit 20. Everybody make this save again. As everyone around the table feels a little nervous. Oh my god, can I do it? And then they all will, unless you've got a party of like a bard, a rogue, a sorcerer, and a wizard.
Yeah.
Right. They're gonna have some trouble up against this, but I like the second layer effect a little bit better, which is large jagged icicles fall from the ceiling within the same kind of area, as long as the dragon can see and then he can target up to 3 creatures. The other one was it hits everybody. This is target up to 3 creatures. Right. So you're pinpointing. You've got like a +7 to hit. You're doing 3d10 piercing damage instead of 3d6 cold damage. So I think you're doing more damage with this one, whereas the other one's kind of a passive damage that's going to hit. It's the closest thing we have to an aura for a dragon, with the sphere of cold fog. But the other thing is it can create like beefier walls that are 30 by 30 feet, right? That are a foot thick and to any space that it can see. And they've got better AC and more hit points and stuff. So not only does it have all of these, like this labyrinth that it's built inside this big cavernous open area, but can also throw up even bigger walls.
I love that.
Especially because most of your players are going to have 30 feet of movement. So you can split the party. And the thing about it is when the wall gets created, it pushes them to whatever side the character wants to land on. So I would absolutely say that I'm just going to drop this right in the middle of the party, and the back half of the people can't get through, and the front half of the people can't get back, and that one person in the middle is like, oh god, what do I do?
Yeah.
Right?
I love that.
So I thought that was pretty fun. There's some basic mechanics. I'm going to try to run through this really quickly. Wormling has a CR of 2, and a young has a CR of 6, an adult has a CR of 13, and predictably an ancient has a CR 20. But I wanted to go through this real quick without getting into real specific numbers here. They all have good AC considering the challenge rating that they're at, but they have weak hit points. I find this is pretty standard for 5th ed. I always want them to last longer, because especially by the time that you're level 8, your players are going to hit. Right? Their strength and con are great. Their charisma and wisdom is good. Their dex is average, and their intelligence is low until it hits an average point, like the adult, I guess, and the ancient. Their saves are dexterity, constitution, wisdom, and charisma, which are the saves you use in battle, right? Those are the ones. There's not a whole lot of intelligence or strength saves, which is good, but they're not really high considering the CR rating. So it almost has these good mechanics. Almost. They've got average walking and swimming speed, below average burrowing, good flying. They've got great perception, and they've got good stealth as far as their skills go, which just leads you back to the idea of them being excellent hunters, right? They know that you're there, and they're going to try to sneak up on you. They're immune to cold. That tracks. They got great dark vision, great passive perception, and a moderate radius for blind sense, which I thought was neat. What makes a lot of sense with their cloud and fog and stuff. They get a decent bite attack and a pretty great breath weapon, considering we don't get a whole lot of area of effect weapons out of monsters. It's always fun to see them. I really wanted the cold breath to cut their speed, to cut things speed off, take 10 off or cut it in half. Or
that's the thing with all.
That's
the thing with all the dragons. Like, there's not a lot of additional effects. The metallic dragons all get their special breath that they get on top of their elemental breath.
Yeah.
But your chromatics, they just have, it does this type of damage in this area of effect, whether it be a line or a cone. It's bizarre and weird. Like, there should be the cold should slow, acid should persist, fire
especially
should
at that
melt.
level. Because if you can reduce speed with is it chill touch reduces speed, cuts speed?
Yes,
in half?
yeah.
Well, if you could do that,
Either that or imposes disadvantage.
There's
there's a reduced
no
speed
chill
thing.
touch. Chill touch gives the other attackers advantage because it's that glowing hand.
Yeah.
You're talking about the low level ice or cold attack. I can't remember. What it is.
I know the internet's screaming
Ray
at
of
us right
Frost,
now.
yeah.
Ray of Frost.
There we go.
It is Ray of Frost. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, even if you were to use, if the rules were that you could use, say, a point of your legendary actions or something to implement that effect.
Yeah.
Where it's just a little bit colder than what it normally would be, but then you drop your legendary action points down or something. But I agree. I think that should be part of it. Absolutely. Why would a huge cold white dragon not be able to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially one that's a hunter, right? Like, it's going to
slow you down. And it wants to freeze you, right? And bury you. Like, it's trying
Yeah,
to
that's
freeze
what
you
it's
solid.
trying to do.
And there's no freezing solid mechanic on this breath weapon, which is strange. Anyway, so everything I just said was true for all dragons, but when they become young dragons and they get beyond the wormling, We increase their mechanical numbers, as you would expect. Right? Everything gets a little bit beefier. Their bite reach increases to 10 feet, which I thought was fun. They get a decent claw attack added in. The Wormling doesn't get a claw attack. And they get multi-attacks. They get 3 attacks. Claw, claw, bite. So, again, there's nothing real special between Wormling and Young. We're just beefing up the numbers, and you can do more attacks, really. But then it hits adult, and we get into the real big jump. It's CR13. I think I said 12 earlier, but it's CR13. Their legendary resistance is 3 times a day, which is pretty standard for anything that's a big kind of boss creature. It adds Frightful Presence, finally, and they get to use it during their multi-attack, which is fantastic. I'm all for it. I love that. Now you're doing 4 things at the beginning of your round.
That makes absolute sense as well, as it would be terrifying if a dragon is trying to tear you apart.
I think it should just be roaring at the beginning of every round, right?
Yep.
So it gets Ice Walk, which this is interesting. It lets it move across icy surfaces and whatnot without imposing any sort of problem as far as slowing down their movement. There's no checks they have to do, but it also lets them climb icy surfaces the same way. So they're just essentially they get Spider Walk up ice. Why are they not flying? It's weird that they've got this climb mechanic in here.
I think it's for flavor reason, right? Like it's how when you walk into a dragon's lair and they get up and they flap their wings and they hover there for a minute with their wings out and beating up all the snow and everything up into the air. That's all cool. But when you're in the middle of a fight and this thing runs up a wall and grips onto the ceiling and blasts down at you, that has a different effect entirely, and I don't think it's a bad one. Like, I actually think that's interesting.
It's not going all the way up to the ceiling, though, because we're talking ice caverns, and it's only moving 40 feet.
I think it's something that this dragon would have innately that they can do, because there's situations where these creatures can't always fly. You may do something to stop this creature from flying, whether you damage a wing or chop it off or whatever happens in the game, as we know it gets crazy. Yeah. But this dragon should still be able to climb the ice walls if it wants to. I
just think it's odd that we waited until CR13 to give this to the white dragon.
Right, like why can't the Wormling do it?
Yeah, right? Anyway, if anything, the Wormling should have, because it has slower fly speed and whatnot, it should be able to climb better.
And it's lighter.
So this also adds a decent tail attack, but it's weird that the tail is not included in the multi-attack. If you want to do a tail attack on the turn, that's it, period. Mm-hmm. Which is odd. You can do claw, bite, frightful presence, or tail, or breath weapon.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue, well, the tail's behind it. It makes sense. It would be bite, claw, but you can also choose to attack something behind you or next to you. Where it would make sense. It'd be efficient to do that.
And it's not fourth ed. It doesn't matter if you're looking forward or back. But I think the reason for that is because the tail appears as one of the legendary actions.
And I think you can also frightful presence whenever it's not added in.
What do you mean?
Like, you could do the frightful presence whenever. It's not an action to do. It doesn't say it's an action to do. It just says each creature within its realm, its range, does the same.
No, but it
requires no action.
It's listed under actions.
It's listed under actions. I guess, that's true. Never mind.
Yeah. So, but
that's weird.
Isn't it strange about the tail attack? But I think they include it because they also include the legendary actions. They have detect for, you get a perception check when it's not your turn, which is really good when you're fighting rogues and things that can go invisible and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. You get the tail attack, which you can do. So I'm doing claw, bite, frightful presence on my turn, and then after you go, I'm going to hit you with the tail. You run around to flank me? No, you don't. Smack, right? So I think that's where the tail comes in. It's a reaction, which is kind of more fun.
And they just give it as an option just in case circumstances come up where you want to use it.
Yeah, and then you have the wing attack, which costs 2 of the 3 legendary action points. Everybody within 10 feet of the dragon has to make a DC 19 dexterity save, or they will take 2d6 plus 6 bludgeoning and fall prone. That's really neat. I like that.
And then the dragon can fly up to half its speed.
Yeah, half its speed, which is 80, right? So now it can fly 40 feet away, and even if it lands, that's beyond the movement of most creatures. And if anybody fell down, half their movement speed is standing up. Like your dragon got away and was recharging its breath weapon. Probably landed on another side of an ice wall.
Yeah.
Right? Like this is why dragons are so scary in their own layers.
Or flew straight up and then decided to stop flying and fell back down on top of the character, which we talked about before. But you can cause massive amounts of damage just from being very clever with movement on these things.
Yeah, and I want to point out, we haven't talked about burrowing. They have a burrow speed as an ice dragon. Yeah, I'm into it.
I'm bringing it up.
That's so much fun. Interestingly enough, now we flip over to the ancient dragon, and you know what they get? More mechanical bonuses. All they get is beefier numbers. There is no new ability for an ancient dragon. It is the same as an adult dragon.
Just with much beefier numbers.
Yeah, and like I said, they're much beefier. They really are. It's a CR13 to a CR20. So, like, these numbers are huge. But that's it. Right? There's no additional thing. I want it to have an aura. I want it to be cold to touch. If you hit this thing, you're taking cold damage.
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
Like, there needs to be something like that. It needs to get a headbutt. Yeah. Right? Something with the horns or there needs to be just more to it.
I agree with the cold damage. If you hit them when something which is ancient, which is basically pure cold, its body is essentially in a deep freeze at this point. Yeah.
Or what I would do is I would add like a constant fog that is rolling off of its scales that obscures it for range.
Like a dry ice type of
like
effect.
a dry ice effect.
Yeah,
right?
That's so cool. Anyway, so that's kind of what we're looking at for white dragons. I know that was a lot, and I talked a whole lot, but I think it's important to really know what we're talking about when we get into my questions. I wanted to ask you guys, what are the most important aspects to combat when you're dealing with a white dragon? Mm-hmm. So when you're a DM or when you are a player, what's the most interesting part of combat? Mm-hmm. So I am also going to say Crystal from Kobolds and Cupcakes gave me new dice because I begged for them like 3.
You've had some horrible luck.
Good stuff.
Yeah, so now these are bright orange. I don't have anything that was orange, and I was sitting there going, I have every color of the rainbow except orange. We're recording this, it's Pride Month, and I'm sitting there going, I can do the whole, no.
Well, now you can.
Now I can, so I'm kind of stoked about it. So anyway, I got my orange die.
I've got my orange die.
I have a green die.
We're feeling very Irish today.
Well, yours is yellow and orange
Well, it's
and green.
orange and yellow and green.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, well, there you go.
All right, let's roll, guys. Terry,
In the box, Terry, and I botched.
Don't hit dance. He rolled a 1.
Okay.
That was close.
19!
Oh, I got a 19!
Oh, we roll.
Oh, Crystal, you're doing me solid on this.
Roll
All right,
up.
re-rolling up.
Let's do it.
No, you hit mine last time. We're going to do 1, 2, 3 roll. I'm on
All right.
it. 1, 2, 3.
Ah, very smart.
I rolled a 19 again! Oh,
Wow,
sweet.
this dice, I think
Yeah.
she gave you a weighted dice. So that's my theory.
Crystal, you're my favorite. Thank you.
Graham, you're my favorite.
The most important...
Dan, you're my favorite.
Oh, buddy. Stop playing with your nipples. It's weird. So, I'm going to answer my own question. What's the most important aspects to combat with a white dragon? For me, it's the hunting. Like, it's built right into the perception, the blind sense, the walls that go up, and the stealth. This thing is all about attacking. I think we said a dragon should never land. White dragons, I feel, do. White dragons are ground level hunters. Because they have the walls up in the lair all the time, that's what I'm looking for with the white dragon, is it should be camouflaged up against a wall, and you don't see it because its stealth is insane, and then it slowly comes down, and its eyes open, and they're like White Walker blue, and then it gets all of its crazy attacks in, and darts behind these walls that you now have to run around.
Yeah.
Right? And it's got, or you see it move, and you turn the corner, and it's had its breath weapon ready to the action, right? Like, first one around the corner is getting smoked with this thing. Mm-hmm. I want to see white dragons be more... I want to be sneakier. If they're going to burrow, have them burrow through soft powder so that you see it kind of like Tremors, the movie Tremors.
Oh, yes.
Right? So you see the white dragon coming. That's what I want to see out of white dragons. I don't see these guys as big flyers.
No.
Even the picture in the monster manual, it's like hugging the ground. It's low.
Yeah, it's walking around.
Yeah. So
hunt you can imagine like a big cat type hunting. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's for me. I want to see more white dragons doing that, and at all levels too, even the wormlings. The other thing I talked about, I'm going to use the opportunity now to bring it up again. I talked about how much fun dragon eggs are, and of course, there's no lore in the books about it. I'm thinking a white dragon egg is just dry ice effect coming off of it all the time. It's white with like blue lines, streaks, spots, whatever you're putting on it to flavor this egg. but to pick it up, it's cold. You got to wear gloves, right? Like,
yeah, I would have it so you could almost just kind of see inside. Like if you study it and then you see the movement inside the shadow.
There would be
movement inside the
opaque
thick
shadows
ice.
moving within it.
Oh
Yeah.
man, imagine that in your perception check.
Well, sorry, I'll bring it up on my turn. 'Cause
Sorry, Adam, I was
that's my
excited
thing.
there.
for
no.
combat.
I want more about Dragon Eggs. This is not enough in 5th edition, so I'm all over it. I think it's fantastic. But yeah, that's it for me. I want the hunt, and I want the breath weapon to be the ambush from the hunt, right? So, who's next? Terry.
That was me. I thoroughly enjoy this hunting aspect of white dragons, but I also enjoy that they're very malicious and that they hold a grudge, and that their average intelligence means that they won't necessarily be trying to do very clever things, just things that they're good at, which is hunting. So I like the idea of the walls going up, but also ground level hunters using burrowing as well. So I would be using grapple attacks and immediately burrowing with that food, letting it go, and then coming back up for the next round.
Oh, I love that. That's fantastic.
That's how I would be moving with that hunter. If you think of the big cats, grabbing the calf, pulling it away from the rest of the herd, and then going back in for whatever else they need.
I'm also picturing that you're not fighting a white dragon out in the open. Not really. I mean, it'll hit and run back to its lair, and it's like, come to me.
Yeah.
Right? It's smart enough to know that it's got the advantage here. And when you walk in, even if it's stealthy and it's not doing anything, suddenly that ice wall goes up behind you and covers the entrance.
Yeah.
Now it's I'm not in here with you.
Slowly as well, cracking.
Yeah. You're in here with me, bitches.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like that's...
I'm
locked in here with you.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
locked in here with me.
I would actually one of the things about the white dragons that I find is awesome is they also have that swim speed. Which leads me to want to put a white dragon on like a massive frozen lake, and everything they have is underneath the lake. Their entire horde, everything is under the lake. And your party is crossing, and they are swimming underneath the party. And if they were really, really with it, if they got that, gnome investigator with a passive perception of 25, they can see the dragon swimming underneath them, and all of these wall effects that it could do. It can, as long as it sees the surface, it's fine. So 120 feet underneath the surface of this water, all of these ice walls start popping up all over the place. And your dragon's doing the same thing. It's popping out, grabbing a guy, diving into this ice cold water, and letting them go.
Okay, all right, hold
and
on.
then freezing the surface. And now you've got a PC stuck underwater under a frozen lake.
All right, hold on. You've inspired me now. I'm thinking like there's this massive frozen lake. There's a ship that's sticking out of the ice that you got to go get to, and the entire ground. It's not the whole horde is underground or is under the water. The entire icy surface has gold coins like buried just underneath.
Yeah.
You'd have to like pick at the ice to get to them, and they're just littered as far as the eye can see.
Yeah.
I
and
imagine
if you stop to get the gems or whatever, this thing is coming up.
Yeah.
Right?
It'll feel it move.
Well, it's got blind sense,
The
right?
fog just clearing for a second as you look down over the frozen lake.
And the giant eye underneath you looking at you.
The eye opening, or like the frozen frost giant, which has been buried underneath, is the first sign that you're getting to the horde. It's like defeated foes that are there.
Oh, you see something like shiny in the ice, and then you look down, and it's a ring on the finger of the frost giant. It's like reaching up, fingers outstretched, and the very tips of its fingers are cracking through the ice and have been worn away by the weather.
And it should look terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, what will terrify a frost giant for it to die like that?
Oh, that's so much fun. I freaking love
It's
it.
all about environment, man. You just got to get away from an empty cave. It's all about environment.
Right, but if you're gonna do the cave, remember they've got the burrow speed. Remember they've got the breath weapon. Like they'll
they've
still
got
like
climb built into
it.
it.
Even says here that they'll like sit on perches and breathe on a party while they try to make their way to the dragon because they've engineered with their ice nature. They've engineered hidden holes, spots of difficult terrain, traps everywhere within their horde, and they will sit up above and just perch and do their thing.
I love the idea of the dragon coming up through the frozen lake as well, with the grapple on one player, flying up, full
and then dropping them.
Dropping them, or just coming straight back down and swimming through the lake again.
Yeah.
It's you can do your entire movement going up, and then it's free action just to decide to stop flying.
Anything to add flavor to your encounter with the dragon, right? Like this should not be and every single fight I've ever had with a white dragon has been a straight up, back and forth melee combat fight.
No way.
Like
they're hunters.
They're hunters. They're not intelligent, but they're wise, and they will
lure
you into traps. You are the prey, and there's no way that you are the hunter.
It's even built in there that wisdom and charisma are its not great saves. It's Dex and Con, right? But their strength and Con are their big stats. But Charisma is next. These things can look at you and they've got insight. They know what you're doing. They know where you're going. They can sense you no matter where you are. If you're in their lair, like, they're coming for you. You guys are absolutely right. They're hunters. So what do you do as a player to get around it? And I'm thinking the real simple answer is, and you know this because I think you have this ability in one of the games, Dan. Do you have Shape Water?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So all of these ice walls just go away as a cantrip, right?
Oh, yeah.
So that
Like
would...
cubes at a time, yeah.
Yeah, that would be... If you're going to go fight a white dragon, you're a spellcaster, Shape Water.
Oh, yeah.
Right? That's the thing you're looking for. And like I say, cantrip, right? So it's... You're not burning spells.
And anything fire. Like, it's a given there. But
you'll notice that they're not vulnerable to fire at all.
But their terrain is.
Terrain is, yeah.
Right? Like, you want to break up, or make sure this is another thing. Bring your gust spells, your wind spells to get rid of this fog.
It actually has a mechanic. It has to be blowing at least 20 miles an hour to get rid of it. But then on the next initiative roll of 20, it's back again, right?
Yeah.
You're not doing too much with this. You're fighting that all the time. So you cast Gust and blow your whatever level spell on it. You guys, all right, now everybody else go and do this. We have 1 round. We have 6 seconds.
Yeah.
This is our shot, right?
I think you got it as a player. Off the top of my head, I think it's going to be once you spot the pattern, or if hopefully you've done a bit of research before you go and attempt to kill a white dragon and how they work, it's going to be a lot of holding your actions, waiting for it to appear, waiting for it to strike. It will get its strike in, but then at least you get your volley of spells off in that go, because you know they're going to follow it almost like a routine of how they hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna appear, hit, and disappear.
Get out of there.
Yeah.
So when they show up, that's when everybody's got to throw their shit at one time.
Do you guys think that you can enrage it enough to stay? I mean, they're territorial, they're chaotic as all hell, they're malicious. Do you think that you just showing up, if you do enough damage to them in one go, or you break their trophies or whatnot, it'll just rage out and come at you? Hold on. Before you answer that leads into my next question, and I want to cut to commercial first.
So don't answer now?
So don't answer. Hold on to that.
All right.
Let's cut to Wildbot 3D.
This episode is brought to you by wildbot3d.com. Condition markers, spell trackers, AoE templates, scatter terrain, and much more. Proudly made in Georgia and personally packaged and shipped worldwide. That's Wildbot 3D, your home for quality 3D printed tabletop gaming accessories and terrain. Visit wildbot3d.com to purchase your new favorite accessories today. Wildbot3d.com. Wildbot.
All right, so we're back. You guys missed that during the commercial. Terry was making promises to Dan. He's turned bright red.
I'm so scared.
Anyways, I want to talk
Somebody
about.
hold me.
I want to talk about social encounters. I want to know what are a couple of interesting social encounters that you can do with white dragons. Remember, we talked before about how chromatic dragons do not innately have the ability to shape change. All dragons can be innate spellcasters, and they have charisma as a spellcasting ability, which I think is kind of fun. But if we don't have them able to be bipedal, and if they are staying in their dragon form, what are 2 interesting ways that you can have a social encounter with the white dragon? Especially keeping in mind that they don't like to talk. They would rather just fight. Mm-hmm. So what can we do here? That's why I was asking earlier about the. Do you think you could goad them? Right?
I would.
Let's roll initiative.
Okay,
you got excited about it.
I just wanted to get answering it. Okay, I'm not going to hit you guys. I'm going to go in the middle there.
You know, you didn't even do that. You rolled
I
out
bounced
of the box.
out. I think. Okay.
Not one.
Natural one.
I got a 14 though. I double digits. I've rolled 3 double digits.
But
I got a 17.
Dan's going
so
first.
I get to go first. One of the ones that I absolutely would love to do is with, funny enough, a wormling. Like, we always talk about the dragons, and we're usually not thinking about utilizing the wormling stage of things. So for a social combat with a wormling, the wormling would be trying to kind of get established and whatnot, and is the social encounter with it would be to, try to trick it to go to a place, try to play on that fact that they're more bestial and ragey, so it's a redirection. So you are introducing them to a cold a cave that they could go into, or that lake that they can make their home away from the village. So it's very much you're coming with gifts and you're coming with things and just hoping that this young wormling that has appeared and started taking cows and stuff for food, you're trying to goad it away.
Why
right?
would you not just kill it? It's only a CR2. Even if you're smart with it, it's going to be a CR5 at best.
I would always boost it again because like a white wormling still has a wormling still has the ability to fly and
look at its hit points.
I know it's not great. It's 32 hit points, but when you are level, say you're a group of level 3 characters or level 1 characters, you got 4 level 1 characters. What are you doing against a thing that's flying? It's still hard to handle that. So you are trying to goad it, right? Because you're level 1. You would use this low. This would be like an introductory campaign thing, right? And trying to set up an ally with this hunting dragon. Like there's no reason why you couldn't do that. Redirect it somewhere else away from everyone because it would destroy you as a party, even at CR2. If you play it properly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's mine.
That's one.
Oh. I guess, yeah, we were supposed to do 2. As a later one, I have done an encounter with a ancient white dragon that was encased in stone before and was just its head stuck in this stone and ice cave. And it was, because it was removed and it was bestial and it was removed from physical movement because it was trapped. And it was bestial, it was forced to do to bargain with a party, and figuring out how a bestial hunter who is now had, for all intents and purposes, his leg.
You said it was ancient?
It was an ancient, yeah. Now, this was back in the day when all we ever did was murder hobos. We chopped its head off and moved on with our lives. But I would love to readdress that encounter where it's like, okay, now you have this thing that wants to get out, and maybe it has an item that you want to get from it, but for it to tell you where that item is, you have to help it get out. So, and it's stuck. So if you try to attack it, it's got its bite attack, it's still got its breath weapon. Right? Maybe its tail can make its way out, or one claw. But doing something like that, if you have a group of high-powered PCs come up to this thing and they need that item, I think it would be a really interesting encounter to see the bestial made to do diplomacy.
Yeah, I don't know. That to me is just watching a barbarian roll.
Yeah, but as a gigantic ancient dragon,
I think that it would have knowledge. It could be like an oracle almost of it knows where the city that was lost to the snows and the blizzards.
Yeah,
is, and you've got to deal with it. Yeah, sure. I like that well enough. If it has a burrow speed, I don't know why it doesn't just leave, but. Magic runes have got
something, right?
It's D&D. You can bullshit your way through it, right?
Yeah.
So, no, I like both of those.
What about you?
Okay, it's my turn. I got 2 things. One is I love the idea of let's say an adult dragon. It could be a young or a wormling, but I like the idea of an adult dragon that has been defeated by the frost giants and is kept in like chains. And they use it almost as like a status symbol amongst the other tribes of frost giants in the area, or it guards their front entrance into their city. Right?
They've made a white dragon a guard dog.
Yeah, right. And you walk up, and it looks at you and goes, "If you free me, I will be your best friend as long as you are up here." And
as long as you live, which will be 3 minutes.
Yeah, but now you have to free the white dragon. And I like it that this is CR13 dragon that is chained up. It can do everything that it wants except it can't disappear, right? It still has its lair is this open area now because it's got this. There's no horde, so it's being driven insane by this. And you are a bunch of CR or like level 9, level 10 adventurers. This thing is still going to kick your ass. You're going to lose a couple of players, right? So it does behoove you to make this deal. And if you go back on the deal and kill a bunch of frost giants, this thing's going to break out. The frost giants aren't as powerful as they were, right? And now you have to fight it. If you do work with it, now you've freed a white dragon, And then I would have this thing come back and be a real pain in the ass at about level 15. Right? Where it has now subjugated a nearby village of nomadic barbarians or whatever. So I like the idea of forcing it to bargain. It's very similar to what you were saying about encased in stone, but I like the giant aspect of it.
Wrapped in chains rather than buried in magical stone.
Yeah, and there would be frost giants that you'd have to kill the frost giant guards, and then you'd have to go pick the locks on all the chains before the frost giants come out. Everybody's always jacking the beanstalk. We're going to go rob the giants. Go rob them of their white dragon.
Yeah.
I think that's more fun. And my other thing, which I think would be a lot of fun, is if a white dragon, again, gets captured or taken out of its environment. Of all of the dragons, this is the one that I feel needs to be in its environment. You can put a red dragon in a forest, or a green dragon on the plains, or a blue dragon over the seas, right? You could do this, and it's not going to really mess with them too much. A white dragon in the desert is just wrong.
It's crippling, yeah.
Yeah, so this white dragon, in order to survive, needs to be escorted back. And for whatever reason, it can't make it on its own. Mm-hmm. And I love the idea of escorting a dragon, and maybe it's just a wormling. And it is sitting in the back of a carriage, and you are just escorting. It's an escort mission. And so you just have bandits on the road that are trying to get it and whatnot. If anybody opens up the back of the carriage, breath weapon comes out and hits them, right? And you can sit there and deal with them. And maybe you have kobolds that are just desperate to get their hands on this dragon, right? And if we free them, then we'll be the dragon's minions. This will be great, and so on and so forth, right? Like, I think that would be a really fun way of of doing it as well. But yeah, that's where I'm coming from.
Love it. Obviously, with me going last, it's harder for me to think of two, but I think one, which I would like to play on, is that they are of average intelligence, and we know they're very malicious and also very territorial. I think it would be still very difficult to bargain with them, but I think it would be easier to trick them, to goad them out of their environment if they feel threatened or if they feel somebody's offending their territory. So I think you can do this, instead of doing it like my enemy is my friend, I do it more like, this is my enemy, but I think I can trick this guy to kill him. So, for example, if you're having beef, essentially, with a load of frost giants, let's just use an easy example, or some mountain dwarves or something like that, I feel like you should use signs of their presence increasingly getting closer to the dragon's environment to cause the dragon to feel that they have to retaliate against your enemy. So
I love the idea of a bunch of adventures out there with like a giant one cutout of a giant's foot. It's just put like in the snow, just stamping down giant foot.
But just somehow we can get D&D. Dan, I swear to God,
don't do it. You almost did it.
Don't do it. Don't do it on my turn. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I gotta cough.
Don't do it. Don't.
Oh shit, here he goes. Terry, sit down. Terry, sit down. Terry, put your belt back on. Dan, run! Terry pooped.
Oh, I actually went dizzy for a second. Like I went dizzy, almost knocked my ponytail out. Sounds like I'm talking about my dick, Dan.
Yep, does. Definitely does.
It's funny because he was talking about his hair, Dan.
Yeah, no, I don't know what it's like to have hair, so
sounds like...
Yeah.
Anyways. But that was my point. I feel like because they are so offended by people encroaching on their territory, and because they're territory, and because they're more bestial, I think you could trick them. You could goad them into attacking your enemy as a clever little D&D plan.
Or set up like a bunch of like bonfires just on the edge of their territory as a way to like offend them.
Yeah,
or draw them out to the edge of their territory to hopefully draw them past.
Or we could reverse this plan. If you had somebody who for some reason wants to be accepted by the dragon, such as a horde of kobolds, you could show the kobolds sign that the dragon has accepted them to cause them to go to the dragon. Symbols!
Yeah. But that's...
I like it. I really like that. Full in the kobolds walking in and be like, hey guys... The dragon said.
The dragon said he actually really likes you. He's decided that he's going to try this worshipping thing, and you know what? It's going really well.
It'll go really well. Just make your way over there, and we will watch from afar.
But we'll D&D it. We'll make it creative. But if we could just get them to go in there, we're laughing.
Okay, all right, hold on, because something just occurred to me. You're talking about. I have trouble picturing kobolds up in the Arctic. that's weird to me. Would you have white kobolds?
Yeah, no, you would. I
Yeah,
would
white
definitely.
kobolds, but they're like wearing furs.
Yeah?
I would maybe play it that they do adapt to their environment. I can see white kobolds. I can see blue tinted kobolds as well for blue dragons.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know, they're
I like it.
draconic,
Traditionally, they're like brown and red.
Yeah,
and
these look like
grayish
dogs,
and-
though. You know, things change,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, no, I'm into it. Is this the white dragons prove then that dragons are hot blooded?
Yes.
Right. If they're cold blooded, they can't live in the Arctic.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Cool.
I would say that like their bloodedness doesn't really do it. The cold temperature fuels them, right? Like the elemental aspects of the dragon is something I like to really like pull on and focus on. So like they would be fueled by the cold, and if they are drawn out into that heat, warmer temperature, that's like it's inverse cold blooded,
What about
not warm blooded, but like inverse cold blooded.
Like they get their power from the cold, like Superman gets from the sun.
Yeah, so like if you pull them out into a desert, that's when they're getting lethargic.
what about like a Mr. Freeze type story where they use
Yeah,
their cold,
I would play him like
where they
Mr.
use
Freeze.
their what
They
about when they
all
use their
have
cold
Arnold Schwarzenegger accents.
and polar bear slippers? No, but they would believe that their cold is so powerful that they can use it to preserve things that they love or care about if they do have that. You know.
There's a white dragon wormling buried, like a dead one buried in ice somewhere in the thing, and this is
Dan.
like, oh,
Can we not
What?
talk about dead children of any variety, please?
well, no, I wasn't
Can
saying.
you
it was
not-
I was gonna go with childhood friend, like
Right.
the one and only friend this white dragon
Still
has ever
a
had.
child,
Still a child, Dan.
Daniel.
Okay.
It's a wormling.
Yeah,
Please.
but
Look,
we don't appreciate it.
children
okay?
in danger are sensitive, Terry and I.
Yeah.
We just need you to calm down. You guys can't see the hate eyes I just got from Dan.
Can you dial it back, please, Dan?
Yeah. Anyways,
Adam?
so is there anything else that you guys want to cover for the social encounters on dragons before we move on to the next thing?
No. And they're not that social.
You know
It's
what?
difficult
Well, the
to-
thing is, like, you have the traditional idea of a conversation with the dragon, and you're just not gonna really have one with a white, right? And if you get its name wrong, a white dragon's not going to care if you get its name wrong. It's going to kill you anyways.
No, you already
Right?
pissed it off by the fact that you walked into the lair.
Exactly, right?
That's
like
what offended him.
you are, if anything, if you
her.
are stuck in a conversation with a white dragon,
Yeah.
you are starting from a negative. You are trying to save your life rather than trying to gain something from the dragon.
I got to back up. Terry just said, or her. Why are there not more female dragons? Like, traditionally speaking, they're all male. I mean, with this Tiamat, but, like, traditionally speaking, when you say, oh, the dragon, it's always a he. I love the idea of it being a female dragon. Especially...
Yeah, I think we're coming around now.
Was
A little
Icy
bit,
Death?
but-
Icy Death is a female dragon, I believe.
Icy Death?
It's Forgotten Realms lore, white dragon.
I feel this is honestly my opinion. I feel like because up until we got more creative with dragons and different types of dragons and different motivations and goals, when they were more bestial like and they were more aggressive, that was seen as quite a male trait. You could see them as like essentially a large lion being territorial.
I just love the idea of a bunch of, like, white kobolds, like, even with the little furs, like Dan was saying, that are the minions. They run forward and, my queen!
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's really...
100%. I'm all over Tiamat. I love her.
And I would use a white dragon also as a minion specifically of Tiamat. So like they are the great hunter. If you are talking to like a different dragon, they're always talking about the great hunter, right? And they're always referencing how fantastic this hunter is and how fantastic this white dragon is at, sneaking up and killing you when you least expect it, or
like-
grabbing you when you least expect it. And like the other dragons are actually afraid because
all right.
they're wild. They're
Right, hold on. I love what you're doing, Dan, but you're getting into the broader campaign use that we're talking about next. First, I want to do a shout out.
all right.
Okay, I got told that
I'm itching to go here as well because I want to piggyback off Dan.
I got told that I say shoot out, so a shout out for our
Okay.
American friends.
In Canada, we pronounce it shout out. So
Yeah.
For sure.
So really quickly, there's a couple things that I want to just get out of the way. First and foremost, thanks again to Crystal and Graham. Did I say it right that time, Terry? It's not Graham.
it's Gristle and Graham actually.
Oh,
but they'll
all right.
forgive you.
Okay. Gristle and Crayon.
They're not going to like that.
It's 2019. I don't know. People are called crazy things. Crystal and Graham, we love them.
Yeah, you guys should really follow Crystal on Instagram. She's at Kobolds and Cupcakes. She does great work. Check out our Instagram page. and our Facebook page and Twitter and whatnot to see this amazing cake with this awesome mimic sitting on top of it.
I'm still going on this cake right here.
Yeah, I'm blown away, and also she gave me amazing dice. So I'm just thank you again. It was great meeting you guys, and we're gonna throw up a bunch of pictures that we had and or that we took together, and I'm excited to keep talking to you guys about what's going on in your campaign. The other thing I want to touch on is the giveaway. We announced it during the mailbag episode, but you two were terrible and interrupted me, and I got derailed, and now you're just bad people. So I want to talk really quickly about what exactly this giveaway is. There's a litany of prizes, most of them related to mimics. You will definitely get mimic minis out of this, and we are going to keep adding them over and over until September 1st, which is the cutoff date. The only thing that you need to do is send us a message. Let us know what classes you think each of us are, what races you think each of us are, and what backgrounds you think each of us are. Also, what flavor of Halls Dan should fucking have.
Oh, black cherry.
Anyways, so classes, races, and backgrounds for each of the three of us. You can drop that into our email, info@itsamimic.com, or hit us up on Instagram at itsamimic. We also have our website. You guys should go check it out. There's a lot of really cool stuff going on over there. It's www.itsamimic.com. We have our Twitter at itsamimicdnd. And of course, we have a Facebook page and YouTube. Nobody gives us any comments, or everybody's on the podcast.
Talk to us.
No one's over there on YouTube. I actually check those comments on a regular basis. So I think Rackham is the only one in there on a regular basis.
Man,
give me shit.
Rackham.
So anyway, so that's the shout out today.
Shout
Am I
The more
doing it?
effort you put into it, the worse it sounds.
Oh my god, that's the name of your sex tape, Dan. All right. So
Dan looked like he's gonna cry. Dad.
I'm quiet for like 5
Come on,
minutes. I
Dad.
say one sentence and
bullshit.
get lit
You were
up.
checking your phone.
I'm excited for video because I feel like people are going to get on board with Dan more. They're going to love it because we bully him so much.
You guys really do.
Well,
But I love you.
Don't deserve it then. So the last thing that I want to talk about is campaign usage, which you were going off. Finish your thought before we roll dice. And
No. I'll bring it up when we get in.
All right. Okay. So I want to know when and how would you use a white dragon in a campaign? So we're not talking an encounter. We're talking this is a campaign villain. Mm-hmm. Right.
I got one good to go.
Well, do you want to roll dice? And
I really want to go first.
Here's your natural one that you rolled before.
I just really want to go first.
God,
Can you stop begging me?
you're
with
0
this?
for 3 on this. In the box.
Try again. I'm not rolling until you get it in the box.
Sorry, I'm not good at sports.
Oh
He
god.
did it again.
Yeah, I got it.
And that-
Nice.
And Dan knocked it
Fuck
down.
you. I will fucking
Oh,
end you.
all right. So Terry, you're still going first because I knocked it down to. You're 9. Dan was 4, and I'm 3 on the final rolls.
Beautiful.
You're not allowed to get mad. You did it to Adam.
Okay.
You did start this nonsense.
Yeah, it's your fault.
How would I use
You're a terrible human
a white
being, and you should
dragon
feel shame.
as a big bad? Okay, you guys know I love Tiamat. I like to talk about a lot. I feel like I would marry her. Okay? So, I would
She'd
use...
marry you.
Daniel, it's my turn. Okay? I will white dragon crawl over this table and tail attack you in the mouth. If you keep this up, okay?
You're just a worm.
I will,
That's
I will
my
legendary
sex
action you
You're
in
a
the
wormling.
face.
You don't have a tail attack.
I will legendary action you in the face. I would use a white dragon because they are master hunters, right? We've agreed upon that.
Do you think they use bait?
I would just let me get
They're
my thought out.
masturbators.
God damn it, Dad! Don't put that evil on me. And now I've yelled. And now you've brought me down to your level. I would use them in honor of their queen. I would use them as almost like a big, terrifying bounty hunter type villain, of where they have been sent out by the Dragon Queen to get her most prized targets. You know, the generals out there that are trying to go against her. I would use them as the big, terrifying bounty hunter trying to impress the Dragon Queen. And I think that would be a fantastic villain that you're never sure where they are, but they show up, and I would love that.
Yeah. I would use a since I'm next, right? Or are you next?
No, I rolled a 3. You were next.
Okay. So I would use a white dragon. I wouldn't really set them up as the big bad evil guy because they're kind of one note in my opinion. Like they're hunters, and they're fantastic at it. But that's what they are. So what I would use a white dragon is I would definitely use it as a surprise. I would use it as a
Surprise dragon.
Yeah, yes. No, I would. I would surprise dragon. Like you accidentally stumble into its lair. I think a white dragon has the cunning, has enough of the cunning aspect to them where they can set up their lair to be stumbled upon by prey. And they're sitting there kind of like a trapdoor spider, just waiting for the dragon, for a hapless adventuring party to come upon.
Are you planning this as a set piece, or is this a random encounter?
I'm planning this as a set piece.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I would plan a session around this specific combat, right? Like, you are going from point A to point B, and there's a frozen lake in the middle. You have to cross the frozen lake, right? And then your party's going to be like, okay, well, there's clearly going to be something about the frozen lake because you're an evil DM, and of course you're going to use the frozen lake as a set piece. So what could it be? And they obsess, and you give little hints about different things. There could be a remoraz. There could be a bunch of frozen spiders or something, right? Like throw some sort of flavor in there to draw them away.
Just like a handful of black widows just frozen under the ice.
Yeah.
Well, no, like I'm thinking like massive blue
Like ice
spiders, right?
Those things
like,
we didn't get in Game of Thrones they promised we never got.
But I would pull the party's investigation of what is here into many different directions, and they would see clues of different things. Like, oh, there's an old frost giant camp that's been abandoned. Maybe they're somewhere in this area, and leave these little clues, and then hit them with a dragon, right? And you've stumbled upon this thing's territory, and it's going to make you pay for it. That's what I would do.
I'm going to say this. There's a lot of dragon hunting that goes on in Dungeons & Dragons, where you kind of know ahead of time what you need going after the dragons. And I feel like that's why they get the CR rating that they have in the Monster Manual, is because your players know they're in a dragon campaign. If you're going to hit them with a dragon out of the blue, you got to treat it like it's a couple of levels higher than it actually is. Mm-hmm. Maybe not a wormling. Wormlings, like, they have no hit points. But if you're going to hit, a CR 13 party with an adult white dragon out of nowhere, that should really be your level 15 party, right? I wouldn't be hitting a level 13 with that. You're going to lose players.
Yep.
And remember, in 5th edition, if you lose one player, the rest of the players aren't as effective, and you get stuck in a death spiral unless you get a TPK. So I'd be really careful with the out of the blue dragon aspect. I think it's a really neat idea. Maybe hit and run as well. Mm-hmm. Maybe if the dragon gets hurt enough, it'll withdraw and continue to guard this pass or whatever for the next prey to come through.
Yeah.
You could always come across a frost giant actively engaging in a white dragon. You know what? That's what I used to like about. If you guys ever played like the Elder Scrolls games, like Skyrim, you know, where you just be walking along and you're like, "Oh, a giant is fighting a yeti." So you just got to see it happen. Good. I guess I'll get involved and I'll loot the bodies afterwards. Yeah.
I always hated the giants just outside of Whiterun because you would always run into them when you're low level. So you just walk along and be like, "Oh, look at that, a woolly mammoth!" And then you're 50 feet in the air because the giant came out of nowhere and smoked you up in the air.
I love it though when like or something attacks you and you're like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna die!" But then like a bear comes along and starts attacking it. You're like, "Thank God for you!" Yeah.
I too have played Nintendos.
Oh, Adam, get out more. Get better at video games.
No, I am out. That's the problem.
Stay in. Don't go out there. There's nothing for us.
Anyway,
tried it. People will try to converse with you.
It's my turn. Terry, show me the respect that you needed from Dan.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Now look, Dan. Now we're all respecting each other. That's what you do. It's anarchy.
Don't anarchy to respect everybody?
No, if you don't respect... Oh my god, you're not even listening.
I rarely do.
Adam,
anyways,
go on.
So Dan was talking about Remoraz, and you guys are talking about this crazy idea of these two things fighting each other. I think that what you should do is you should say, hey, you know what? There is this. You need to pull the rug out from underneath your players, like you were saying, Dan. But I would say you're going in for the dragon because he's moved into this area, and when you get in there, you can have the dragon fighting 3 or 4 Remoraz that are popping up out of the ground and changing the landscape, and you've got to get in there and make sure the dragon dies. But the moment the dragon's dead, the Remoraz, the whole group of them are going to come after you. So you're managing these creatures that are higher level, that any one of them could wipe you out, and you got to kind of stay balancing and rebalancing this fight over and over again.
I love that. I see what you're saying.
So
You might have to side with one side and then side with the other side.
and swap back and forth and be like, okay, look, we got to distract the big Remoraz until the dragon kills the little ones.
Yeah.
And then we got to get the big one to come back after the dragon.
Yeah.
Right? And so you're doing a whole lot of like animal handling checks and deception for decoys and stealth.
I
And
love that.
that feels like a skill challenge more than anything else. And then by the time you get around to this ancient white dragon that you have to kill, you had no idea how you're going to do that at level 12. It's only got 100 hit points left. And it doesn't have its breath weapon. You're waiting on the recharge, right?
Yeah.
So this allows you to kill a high level dragon early on.
Making a really fun
Yeah.
campaign. Yeah.
The other one that I thought would be really cool is to have the go in and steal the dragon eggs that are there. So there's the female white dragon that just laid all of the dragon eggs, and you got to go in and kill her and steal the eggs or smash them up before they turn into more, because we don't need that many white dragons in this region. So please, just even if you only deal with the eggs, try to kill the ancient white dragon, but you don't have to. That's secondary. And then as you get close, you see the white dragon flying away. You're like, oh, hey, you know what? We're a level 10 party. There's just like...
We feel good.
Yeah, there's like 7 dragon eggs. We're going to go smash them. And you walk in, and now there are 7 wormlings, and that's a CR 14 encounter. You've got 7 breath weapons going off. These things are flying and climbing, and they can still use their regional and lair effects.
Yep.
Even when they're wormlings. So you got to keep in mind that is not just one 30 by 30 foot wall. That's 7 that are going up. This is now just a crazy funhouse environment, and you are slowly tracking down these things inside this massive area.
Oh, that would be so much fun.
I think that would
so
take you an
stressful.
entire encounter or an entire session to run through that, but you would remember it.
Those games where you're just stressed to hell by the end, but it's so good.
I just got an idea for, like literally just now, for a different twist to a campaign, like 3 or 4 sessions where you come across that one survivor of an adventuring party that attacked the white dragon and lost, but he managed to get away. So now this guy, because they're vengeful and they hold a grudge, this guy is actively hunted by a dragon that is more powerful than your party will be able to handle. So now you're doing a series of things to try to shield him and hide him from the white dragon.
I love it. 90% of players are just going to be like, I don't know, man. Tie him to a tree and leave him.
Yeah. No,
Okay,
I say
those parties are
I
dicks,
say make them
and make them
somebody-
pay for that.
Make them somebody of importance.
Of importance as well, yeah.
So like maybe not necessarily
A minor
king,
lord.
but a politician or minor lord or something, where people are going to have to protect that person. It's not clear why the dragon keeps attacking, but it's for that one individual, especially a dragon that doesn't talk that much.
Yeah.
I like the idea of the whole same setup, but maybe they're supposed to sacrifice the guy to the dragon to get through the territory. And now you're dealing with alignment shifts and things.
Yeah.
Right? Like, not that alignment shifts mean anything in 5th ed, but I think it's fun characterization that...
It's fun storytelling at the very least.
Yeah, so I think that there are a lot of options around white dragons. We've covered a lot of different ways to use them in this episode. Do you guys have any final thoughts before we wrap this up?
The only thing I would say, my final thought is, and we've touched on all of these things, but it's just to remember the personalities and the core traits of these dragons. Like the encounters and the campaign arcs are coming from essentially what they are. Mm-hmm. This dragon is territorial. It is very malicious. It is more bestial and is of average intelligence. Everything should be built around those principles. They're going to act very differently to blue dragons, to red dragons, to brass dragons. And if you stick to those core traits, you'll make a much more interesting campaign arc. It won't just be the generic slashy dragon.
Yeah, and I would hazard all DMs and all players to take white dragons far more seriously. They kind of get that rep of being the ones that you could just kind of hand wave and
It's lack of creativity.
yeah, it's a lack of creativity. You just like you were saying,
They're just
use
big
their ability.
griffins with cold breath.
Yeah, right. And there's nothing saying they have to be that. Make them interesting. Make them a threat.
Oh,
and they're dragons. You're playing Dungeons and Dragons. It should have some weight to it.
Yeah, I was thinking about the burrow mechanic again. Just I don't know why it hit me, but I'm thinking all the way through this area, there's all of these like cold geysers that are just coming up out of the ground, and if you get hit by it, you take this cold damage. And it turns out that it's the dragon waiting on the breath recharge. and burrowing underneath you, and you just don't know it's down there. And every so often, just boom, the ground explodes with this giant geyser of cold and ice.
Or you can do the whole thing where these gigantic holes are just appearing in the city, and people are going missing through these holes, and you have to hunt it down and figure out.
I
what's
do want to play
it.
Tremors.
And it's very much like Tremors, and then you find it's like a bunch of wormlings are working together or something, right? Or a bunch of wormlings are having a hunting competition to see how many humans or villagers they can get, and whoever wins gets this land.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I also just thinking, because you just talked about burrowing again, Adam. If there's somebody specific or some specific target that a white dragon is looking for in a town, why would they fly and attack the town like a regular dragon? Like some of the other dragons would. Why are they not just burrowing, coming up, grabbing what they want, and going back down again?
Because they're really not that cunning. It's right in the lore. They're territorial. They need to say, this is mine. A lot of their attacks are going to be based on a show of force, as opposed to just like assassinating the mayor, right? Which is something you expect out of a blue dragon or a green dragon. So I hear what you're saying. I think that I wouldn't do it with a wormling. I wouldn't do it with a wormling who has an intelligence of 5. But I might do it with an ancient who's been around and has seen the Remoras pop up and eat things like, oh, no, wait a minute, that's a good fucking idea.
Or if they're going to use that tactic, it's going to be closer to home. It's going to be to protect their own stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
So, is there anything else that you guys want to cover on White Dragons? Or?
No, good. That was great.
All right, so...
Thank you, chaps.
Thank you, Crystal, for that cake again.
Oh my god, it's so good. We're gonna force feed Terry more of it as soon as we finish.
Yeah, it's so good, but I can't.
It's so rich.
It's July soon.
It's July soon. You just have to get your beach bod ready to go. Is that what it is?
You put me back a week. now all I get to do for my next meal is just sparkling water and a nap.
Sparkling water and naps for the next week. That's it. That's all you're allowed.
All right, so this has been another episode of It's Mimic. Thanks very much for listening to us ramble on and on about white dragons. I believe the next dragons that we're going to cover are green.
Ooh.
If I remember correctly. So make sure to check that out. We also have a big episode on fiends coming out. I believe it's next week.
Yep.
And we have a special request as well to kind of reorder some of the classes that we're going to do. So we've got some little bit of shakeup coming up with that as well.
Yeah.
Around the corner. So we got a lot of fun stuff coming up in the future. Make sure to check us out at www.itsamimic.com. You can reach us at info@itsamimic.com and hit us up at itsamimic on Instagram. Guys, what are your personal tags?
I'm at Oscar_the_orc, all with K's.
At SendNoobsDND. That's Instagram.
And I'm at Rusty Styrofoam. So thanks very much for listening, and let's play the outro music.
Thank you for listening to It's a Mimic. Check us out online at itsamimic.com or on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Have questions you would like answered by the guys on the show? Send them an email to itsamimic@gmail.com. Tune in every Tuesday for more.
So I'm literally, the mimic is staring at me right now, and I'm like, guys, what's the weirdest animal you've eaten?
Do you know what? Mine's not that bad.
Did you say bad?
Bad. No, not bad. I've eaten like worms and stuff for like survival things.
Well, yeah, because you're
bring it
British
out.
military.
Yeah,
They
like-
teach you how to eat bugs and stuff there, right?
Well, actually,
like Bear
I
Grylls?
was there for 6 years, and I
Is
only
it
did
like
it once.
Is it like they blindfold you and just say open your mouth?
Crickets and stuff, but I feel like nothing that bad. Alligator, but I feel like everyone's done that now.
I used to work in an exotic meat packing company.
Okay, what does exotic meat comprise of?
So we had bison, we had snake, we had
Just
shark.
Canada, man. Everyone's
we
eating
had-
bison.
We had shark. We had like 3 different varieties of bear. We had elk. We had.
You're just listening to stuff that my brother hunts.
You're just listing Canadian animals.
I ate some really weird stuff in Antigua when I lived there with my family.
You lived in Antigua?
I lived in Antigua for 4 months. Yeah.
Antigua, Ontario?
No, Antigua and Barbados, which is 50 or 500 miles north of Venezuela.
What's that in real money?
In
7,500 kilometers or something?
Yeah, something like that. It's a ways away. I thoroughly didn't enjoy it because I am a gigantic nerd who prefers to stay indoors and not have the sun beating on me at 24/7.
No.
And bugs. Bugs were a big
Would
thing.
you rather have the sun beating on you?
Oh, speaking of bugs,
Yeah.
Rackham found out what a group of sturges is called. I don't know if you saw that.
What is
A thirst.
a thirst of sturges?
That's amazing.
That is the most terrifying
That's
thing
about
I've
as
ever
good
heard.
as it gets.
That's vaguely sexual too. I like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like you walk through and you
Thirsty.
while you're walking through the jungle, and all of a sudden you hear a buzzing noise, and you turn and you can hear the thirst before
Just a
it
load of
sees you.
thirsty sturges.
Yeah, and like you have to say it like you would say, like you don't just say moist, you say moist. Like you add gravitas to it. Like you have to do the same with.
Is it gravitas?
Thirst.
Is it like gravitas?
What are we
I
talking
have the
about?
dialect.
Oh man, I'm getting like a.
Are you getting a
or
sugar rush?
something.
Well, you've
Something
kind
going
of
on.
you've been cutting right now,
I've
haven't
been
you?
cutting a
or-
little bit, summer cut, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awful.
Well,
I'm
sorry
so
sorry
moody.
for this. Is this your cheat day? I hope it's your cheat day.
Thanks, Crystal. It's not a cheat day. Not a cheat
It
day.
is now.
I like that it's blue.
I also like
Oh,
this.
That's my
Look.
contribution. Is
Look.
I'm just eating cake.
I like that it was like a gender reveal party for the mimic, who we've been calling Mimi this whole time. But now we need to change to
Pee-pee. No,
Michael?
shit. Hold on.
Pepe?
No, not Pepe.
No Pepe.
I'm the one that's going to take the selfie here.
No
Oh,
Pepe.
I'm
Is
doing
that,
this
because
wrong.
is that because we're weird about?
No, not Pepe because that's the alt-right movement's freaking mascot.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, hard no.
Yeah.
Huh. I should probably get more up to date with this stuff.
Get better at the internet, Terry.
Who's
Yeah,
gonna
for
guess that?
for someone who gave me no end of shit for being bad at pop culture.
Well, I'm sorry I don't know the cartoon logo for the alt-right movement.
You need to stay up to speed on these things.
Yeah, you really do.
I think my kidneys are shutting down.
Something's going on.
Are we just recording this endlessly, and then we'll see what
We'll
we?
just set it up as
Or
a
what?
side thing, or after the episode.
Yeah, this could be after the
After the episode.
after the end. Yeah.
I could be like, la la la, it's the mimic eating fucking cake. La la la.
Oh my god.
Terry's saying in the fucking mailbag, it's my turn. La la la, fucking cake.
Dan, you got a rap.
I am.
Oh,
I
we
am
were just
not-
doing Tupac a minute ago.
I am nowhere near quick enough to rap.
I'm pretty sure Dan is a one-pack.
It's keg.
Mimics bring bitches, bitches bring lies. No,
No.
Tupac. But I admit it, it's a mimic.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you.
No, it's funny, Dan, because he was quoting Tupac.
Tupac.
But it was actually, but it's a
Incorrectly.
mimic.
Yeah.
Right, that's why it was funny, Dan. Dan.
No,
Damn.
I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. I don't understand this new thing of explaining jokes to me.
It's
Well,
because you don't get
you don't
it. You
laugh
look at
enough.
us like with your big fucking cow eyes, and we're like, what the fuck, Dan?
No, I mostly just rage
my God.
staring at.
This is the most sugar I've had. I'm having it in a single sitting. I don't think I've had this much sugar over the past 6 months. And I don't know what's going on.
You could have said, "Hey Dan, cut me a smaller
I'm
piece."
smelling colors, dude.
I'm sorry, I thought you were a normal fucking person. You cut me a
Smelling
third of a
colours.
goddamn
I'm smelling
cake.
colors. I feel like I'm licking the Feywild, man. Like I'm out there, Dan.
When Faye goes wild, Terry's just getting that
Oh!
right in there. What?
David, write that down. Good idea for porno.
There we go.
When Faye goes wild.
Pretty
Oh,
sure
yeah,
that's
I
already the
suppose.
name of one.
I'm pretty sure we're gonna get Dan to Google that later.
Hey, you know in Quebec, some people say they say goggle. A little bit, something.
They say goggle.
Goggle. Yeah, goggle. Yeah.
Wow.
Voyons, goggle.
Now, okay, you
That's
guys gave
a
me
long
shit.
litany of things.
I ripped on Quebec like 10 episodes ago. You guys are like, Adam, you can't do that.
It's actually pronounced Quebec.
It's actually pronounced Quebec. Allow me to show my inner white guy.
And
Well, hey there, Quebec. How you doing?
are you from Quebec?
Goddamn love
You
Quebec.
speak French there, don't you know?
What?
Terry,
My favorite thing about Quebec French is that real, like, people from France hate it.
Well, it's
It,
the
it
same-
must be how you feel whenever you hear an American.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
Like, stop butchering the Queen's
Please
English.
stop doing that.
Yeah.
There's
It's like, I could hear your removal of the U's.
do you ever look at America and be like, what's the matter with you?
Why are you talking? I love America.
What's that? It's a bus. No, it's a trolley, you damn colonial.
Too much.
No.
It's always every day of my life. But I'm moving past now.
Well, you've been in Canada 10 years now.
I know. That's why I started to learn
And at least
French
it's
now.
Canada.
Started to learn French.
Oh, have you?
Quebec French, not real French.
Well,
'Cause- but listen,
so let me
help
guess,
you.
you started with swearing.
Oh yeah.
No, look, it's easy to learn Quebec French. All you have to do is put la in front of an English language. It's la truck. That's it. Now you can speak French. I'm going down to La Starbucks and having a la coffee.
I love him. God love him.
Well, somebody's got it.
This is going to be a hell of an episode to edit.
Well, you got two.
Throw this on the end, man.
Yep.
I got 2 bites left. No, 1 bite. I'm gonna do it. Oh my god, it's too much sugar.
It's not enough sugar.
I could see like Terry's bicep twitching just from the amount of sugar.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I've also been staring at his muscle, his bulging, quivering, throbbing muscle.
And they're kind of sweaty now because of all the sugar.
Oh, you guys.
Like glistening, bulging muscles over here.
Stop. That's weird. That was good, Crystal. Thank you.
Yes, Crystal. Thank you, Graham. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Graham. Hey,
Graham.
we learned that Graham is from he's from England originally, and he's from about 10 miles away from where I'm from.
Say it again. Graham.
Graham.
Or Graham.
I'm hyper aware of it now. It's like when somebody from America points out that, oh, you guys said a boot, and I'm like, no, we fucking didn't.
No, it's actually more like a boat anyway, like a boat like on the ocean.
I found it when Shannon and I were dating. I found that most people in Ohio have a stronger Canadian accent than we do out here on the West Coast.
Yeah, you listen to the all natural. You listen to the all natural 20s.
It's the Y thing that they throw Y's into words, right? Like a can becomes a can. It's like, are you saying can? Because it sounds like you're saying a can of tuna.
Yeah,
it's weird. I don't know.
What's the one I
you gotta meet some movies, man.
We'll go all day with this.
Paper bag. Like Shannon would say, a paper bag, and I'm like, what is that thing you just said?
Because it's not my language.
No, it's a paper bag.
But the language thing will go down. How's that? Adam, you stopped halfway through your slice.
Oh my god.
That's because his slice was a quarter of the cake.
Smashed mine down, man.
Yeah.
No regrets.
Well, there'll be some. I'm looking at your face right now. I'm going to take a picture of this. Terry's fucking falling apart.
Wait.
Oh, he's got a pose.
No, I'm...
Are you actually about to throw up?
Here's the thing, right? Everyone always thinks I'm posing for stuff, and I'm not. I'm just trying to live my life.
From the sexiest angle possible.
Which I've mastered. Oh, God, I'm burping. Excuse me.
Do we want to get this out of the way, and then we'll start talking about stuff?
Dragons